bidding, because that's what it's all about, the latest move. And to talk about it, we have Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti, former Secretary, MEA, and Professor Rakesh Mohan Joshi, Chairperson, International Trade Division, IIFT, the International Institute of Foreign Trade, is also joining us. Professor Joshi, to you first, if I could ask you, straight off, it is clearly a step that has been taken to ensure that malicious economic activity does not go on as far as our neighboring countries are concerned, and there's no mistaking as to which country we really are talking about over here. We're having some problem getting your audio, Professor Joshi. If I could bring in Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti while we fix your audio issue. Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti, what do you make of this order that the government has issued? Because it has to be seen in tandem with the kind of efforts that are being made to resolve the border issue as well with China. Even today, we've had a key meeting.
I think the government of India is rightly using a multi-track approach while talking to the Chinese at various levels, diplomatic and military. We are also taking certain actions which are economic in nature, or which are digital security in nature. And apart from the Constitution, which permits us to do it, Article 21 of the WTO also permits signatories to invoke the National Security Clause, and hence that is the clause that we are also invoking. And there is absolutely no harm in invoking these clauses, because when we are in a situation where there is a conflict brewing, where there have been bloody clashes with China, and we have seen that China has gone back on almost all the agreements, despite all the diplomatic wording of the statement that has come out. It's quite meaningless, actually. We'll have to talk, and unless the Chinese go back to the status quo ante, I don't think there can be any resolution. And hence, we will have to decide how much to engage with China. And economically, we need to disengage. I mean, after all, China is now displaying its very hostile intent along the border, and also with, say, Bhutan and other countries. So now I think it's time that we disengage to the extent possible with China on the economic front. China has been enjoying they've been enjoying a favorable trade balance with India for years now.
Yes.
And I think this is very unfair in terms of trading practices. China is a protectionist kind of market, whereas because it is state-controlled, everything is state-controlled. Every company has connections with the Communist Party, and hence there is no option but to ensure that these kind of companies who can undermine our national security are kept out of the Indian market. And just as these 59 apps were banned, there will be many other places where we will ban them. Where necessary, we will take their goods or whatever that we can for our own benefit. But we will not allow a free run to the Chinese companies and their digital companies.
Yes, that does seem to be the stand that we have taken, and we're going along with that. Professor Joshi, just tell us, to what extent would these measures, if you see them all together, not just the latest one as far as government contracts are concerned, but the one related to FDI, the one related to apps, and the one related to GEM, to what extent do they hurt China economically and perception-wise as well? And perception-wise, I'll also come to you on that particular question, Pinak Ranjan Chakrabarti.
No, I think it's extremely important. What India's measure which we have taken is a comprehensive part of the India's strategy. Now, if you see into the strategic moves, that it is certainly going to put pressure into the China, because China is the largest source of import for India, accounting for 14.5% of the share. Now, if you see that what we have done is, putting a lot of pressure, including, and if you see, this says basically, the companies which are excluded, it is very clear that the companies where the India is providing some sort of financial assistance or line of credit, so we are not excluding Nepal, Bangladesh, Myanmar, Bhutan, the countries which are, so I think that this goes to basically China and then to some extent to Pakistan. So it is going to put certainly a pressure. Now India is having a problem of trade deficit with China. India has got a $51 billion of trade deficit with China, and India's trade deficit has seen increase. You have also seen that we had a lot of issue with Chinese products entering into this market on the price tactics that the China use. Chinese products are coming price very at a low price. So there are two things of the price competitiveness. Number one, whether the China is so efficient to bring this, but I think China is efficient, there is no doubt about it, but there are certain translucency or lack of transparency on the part of China in pricing its product. China has been accused long, not only by India, but various other countries of dumping its product into the international market and thereby killing the domestic products across the market. India is having a trade deficit of $51 billion with China, but America is having a trade deficit of over $300 billion with China. Yes. China now is facing problem with America as well. India with a population of 1.4 billion people, China, this market is extremely important. India is otherwise in total terms third or fourth largest market in the whole world. China will find it very difficult to lose as big market of the 1.4 billion people, because of China has to make a trade-off between the strategic moves that it is doing in terms of the border, border or grabbing the land at the border, but its economy. China's basic strength in the world is of economy rather than, I think, the barren land at the 14,000 feet high in Ladakh. So I'm very sure that it's going to put a pressure. Now, if you see that the procurement, because of all procurement, you cannot have that competent authority. Competent authority in India, as you know, only Indians know how to define competitive authority. Okay. Here in it is DPIP. Then you also need wherein the power has been given to the state government. Yes. They required to take the political and security approval from the government of India, and they also need to write the country of origin on all the the EE marketing or the EE procurement channels of the government. So I'm very sure as far as the government procurement is concerned, as far as the concerned with all the public sector undertakings, banks, and also it is applicable to the PPP project. So I'm very sure it is good. Only thing, the private sector has not been covered on that so far. But I'm very sure that it is going to put a pressure. But anyway, it's a very, very strategic, calculated move by India. Let's see what is the response from China. And then India also has a lot of things, which we can move in terms of the strategy to put a pressure on China.
And you talked about the private sector, so Atmanirbhar Bharat is a necessary concomitant to what is being done by the government as well, and that is also now a national mission. It has to be taken forward as a people's movement. But Pinakaranjan Chakrabarty, if you talk about how China is expected to respond, we all know that. The US has also spelled it out. India has been spelling it out for very long. The US too is now acting. It's shut down its consulate in Houston because of what it said was a spying case that has been unraveled, and there's more in store over there as well. But why is China not mending its ways? It just seems that it wants to stay on the kind of confrontationist course that it has taken, not just with US and India, but several other countries in the South China Sea and the East China Sea.
In my view, if the COVID pandemic had not happened, perhaps China wouldn't have attempted all these things. I think they realized that the whole world was sort of busy with fighting the COVID, the USA, India, and all the major countries. So they thought this was a good opportunity to sort of do the things that they are doing, open up several fronts, Hong Kong, Taiwan, South China Sea, and in Ladakh. Some people argue that it was because of Article 370 that was revoked. But we made it very clear that it had nothing to do with the LAC, and that we were not making claims on any other part of LAC or beyond the LAC, which is in China's possession. So I think China has made a strategic decision that this was a time to, I think, assert itself, because every other country in the world was busy, and they were not prepared for this kind of, so they took everybody by surprise, actually, to some extent. And so hence they thought that this is the time to actually, achieve their ambition of hegemony in Asia and elsewhere. Secondly, I think given the fact that the US-China relations were going from bad to worse, and so they were sending signals to countries like India that, don't gang up with the USA against us. But of course, the outcome may be completely opposite. But I don't know. These were Chinese, obviously, policies that may have been decided. Now, I think what is going to happen now is that China's primary target is the USA now, not India really, I think. But India is being sort of signaled and threatened in a manner that, we can deal with you, etc., and don't gang up with the USA. Now, on the economic front, what countermeasures China will take is yet to be seen. They will probably take some, but their best countermeasure is actually in Ladakh, where they are keeping the pressure up. So I don't know on the economic front what countermeasures they will take, but they might. They might, put up some barriers or something, non-tariff barriers, which they have plenty on Indian products. So I think they will just ramp it up. And after all, it's unlike India, which is, which is different, open, transparent, democracy. China is not. And
this sort of a response has been forced upon us, hasn't it? And Professor Joshi, just tell us, apart from the measures the government has already taken, are there others as well in the government's armory to further hurt China on the economic front? And this is not about what kind of trade and business dealings, investment and all that China has with India, but the perception that is being built through these actions being taken by India, also the US, for the rest of the world as well.
No, it's extremely important because India has signaled not only to China but the entire world, probably the first time after independence, that India is capable of taking stringent measures against a country, especially if you threaten our national security. India being a very large market, India being a growing market, India being the largest growing democratic market, and a country with a lot of population, 1.4 billion people, at least 600 million people are the actual consuming class. So and the two things. One is the government taking measures, and the perception across the country being made as to make Atmanirbhar Bharat. Atmanirbhar Bharat is something to tell that I think it is the time for the whole country to introspect into the various issues and the bottlenecks. And I think this has put a pressure on every industry, government, and all the stakeholders, related organizations, how to make India's products very, very competitive, and how to contribute that Indian product are, bought being in the Indian market. So this is another thing. China has got very limited option to put pressure as far as the India's goods going there, because our trade deficit is $51 billion. The problem is India is exporting most of the products which are, not high value added or the manufactured product, but India is exporting to China the products which are less value added. Say it could be the the fibers or the cotton yarn which we are exporting. Okay. Then there are certain mineral items. So India, another thing which we can do is this is the procedural bottlenecks, but another thing is the quality bottlenecks also. As you are aware that we, a few years back we banned the toys coming from China on the grounds of the security and all those. You are very much aware the products which are being marketed by China in India and products marketed by China to the high-end customers in Europe and America are very, very different. Chinese products are being dumped in India. Another has got the tool in our strategy is the anti-dumping campaign could be hastened, and we can put more pressure. Quality are the other issues, the lack of safety and the lack of quality in the Chinese products which we receive could be another. So I'm very sure the government is using as a strategic, and more than this pressure, what India is doing, as you are aware, the competitiveness, or ease of doing business, and all sorts of these things. Probably, it has given a time for introspection, and I am sure the government is working on it. And it is a great opportunity, maybe by of the strategic reasons or the border disputes has given that, the India has got an opportunity to convert this calamity into a great opportunity, never before, unprecedented.
Yes, definitely, and that is what is the message also going out from the Prime Minister himself, and it will reverberate from the ramparts of the Red Fort 2 of Atmanirbhar Bharat. But as far as the global situation is concerned, to what extent can these measures that are being taken by certain countries, UK is also now in the mix as well. They have acted against 5G technology coming in from China, but to make it even more wider through the entire global community, Pinaki Ranjan Chakrabarty, what more needs to be done?
I think messages are going out to the international community, and China should be worried about it, because if all countries start to take similar action, and they are actually on, let's say, 5G, Huawei 5G. The USA has banned it. India has yet to decide. But I know where the decision is heading. But then we are probably holding it back to check whether there is any change in Chinese behavior. I think even in the other countries, people are now having serious rethinking. UK has also made some changes. So once that starts happening, and the apps, for example, that were banned, many countries are also considering. So it will cause a lot of economic discomfort. I don't know how much, but China may think that we have enough cushion in reserves and other things, and we can absorb these, a few $1 billion here and there, and we can absorb, which perhaps is true also. So it will all depend on how China sees itself and how China wants to position itself. One of the things that people have been saying is that there is also some domestic factors that are fueling this kind of behavior, and so it's yet to finish itself, yet to play out as to how China will actually, proceed. Will it continue along this line and start threatening everybody, attacking everybody, but then some pushback has been developed already in the South China Sea, in the Andaman, where India and the US. So there is, and America has already announced that they will be looking for a coalition of countries who will be, who they would like to form, and who can do some kind of a pushback against Chinese sort of aggressive hegemonic designs.
Well, certainly a Quad Plus is also something that could be worked upon to ensure that as far as the strategic response to China is concerned, especially in the Indian Ocean region, that is also strengthened. We'll have to leave it there, completely out of time. Pinaki Ranjan Chakrabarty and Professor Joshi, thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.